Hey friends, welcome back to my channel where today I'm playing with the BH Cosmetics Pistachio palette from their Sweet Shoppe series. I got this on Poshmark for $10. I'm so excited about it. This one is a little bit harder to find than most of the others because it seems to be so many people's favorites. And having played with it, I totally understand why. Today I also paired it with Blue Moon from ColourPop, and if you want to see how I created this lovely peacock eyeshadow look, then just stick around. If you have never been here before and you're new to my channel, hi, my name's Rachel. I'm homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I love to play with all things colorful. One of the ways I love to express myself is to play with colorful eyeshadow. So I typically upload at least 3 videos a week, all eyeshadow related content. If you are interested in seeing more, I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing. Alright guys, so in today's video I want to play with the Pistachio palette, but I want to pair it with Blue Moon from ColourPop. I thought about pairing it with High Tide from ColourPop because I was trying to play into this tropical blue of my shirt. But I think that that's going to be too close to the green because teal is just a mix of blue and green, whereas this is green and blue. They're totally separate colors. So I think that's what I'm going to do. You could get a really beautiful look using just this palette because it's got a nice range of light to dark tones in both shimmers and mattes. And overall, it's just a really beautiful palette. I can't wait to play with it. First, I'm going to prime my eyes using the Glamlight Icing Primer in the shade White Frosting. You'll have to excuse the way that I'm talking. I had a tooth at the back of my mouth break. Like an entire corner of my molar just broke off, and so I've got all these jagged edges of my tooth which are cutting into my tongue and making everything hurt. Eating, talking, drinking, it all hurts. So I was a little reticent to do this video at all because talking is not the most pleasant experience right now, but I did really want to play with this palette. And it's funny because I'm changing the way that I speak. I'm actually changing the way that I'm forming my words because I'm tending to close this side of my mouth, and so everything's just a little bit different. So if I sound a little funny or I look a little funny or I trip over my words and have to like recalibrate, that's why. Alright, I'm going to start this look. I've got a small pencil brush and I'm grabbing the shade Guilty Pleasure from the Pistachio palette, and this I'm going to place in my inner crease. So anyway, I have a dentist appointment in a couple of days, and that's really good. I'm looking forward to getting it dealt with. Apparently there was decay inside that tooth, and I was chewing some nuts one day, and I guess I hit it at just the right angle because the entire corner broke off and exposed everything inside and underneath. It's a little bit cringy, but that's what happened. And now the edges are just like making the side of my tongue raw, so that entire like quadrant of my mouth is out of commission. I'm chewing everything on the opposite side, and it's just unpleasant. So I'm looking forward to getting that dealt with. Hopefully it's not too expensive. With a denser and larger blending brush, I'm now taking Nutty, and I'm going to put this on the entire outer crease. So for about the last 8 years or so, it's been 8 years since I went to the dentist. I know that's not great, but I talked to the dentist, the assistant yesterday, and she's like, oh, I've heard worse. But the reason is that my husband and I have had, we'll say, unstable finances for quite a while. We had started a business, and most of our personal money went into the business, and it was just, you know, we didn't have stable money for a while for things like dental work. We were more interested in buying groceries, and over a time that didn't really ease up for quite a while. Now he's got insurance, and finally we have the finances in a stable enough place that we can justify spending money on non-essentials. And I know I say that putting on eyeshadow, like eyeshadow is not essential, but you know what I mean, like bigger money. This is a much fluffier and smaller blending brush. I'm taking Soft Serve, just the lightest of the green mattes. And I'm just going on the very edges of these 2 shades. So anyway, he finally has insurance, and it's family insurance, which is nice. And I'm curious to see what it's going to cover. I know, like, the explanation of benefits was like, well, you know, you've got 80% here and 60% of this covered, but I don't actually know what kind of work I need. I know this tooth needs to be dealt with, but I have other dental work that also needs to happen, and I'm just curious to see what the final bill is going to be. Honestly, we've actually considered looking into dental tourism. You know, going to Mexico to have dental work done and dealing with, because I was talking to a friend. She was saying that she and her husband, every 6 months, their family goes down to Mexico. I'm taking a smaller blending brush. Now I want cone or cup. It's the smallest green matte in the palette. And I'm putting it in the outer corner only. So she and her husband or family go down to Mexico every 6 months. They have family right on the border, Texas, Mexico. And they stay with the family, and then they go across the border to a dentist who has been trained in the US, and they have all of their work done. And the cost savings is incredible. She says they pay $7 for a cavity. And her husband had to have oral surgery, like he had an abscess. So they did a biopsy, and they did everything they need to do to make sure the abscess wasn't cancerous. And then they dealt with it. And the cost for all the dental work for their entire family, including his oral surgery and the wife and all of their kids, everything was $600. And I just couldn't believe it. Like, that's incredible. So depending on what the cost is for my work, I know I need some implants and probably a couple root canals, a bunch of cavities. I just don't have great teeth. I'm curious to see what it's going to cost. First off, I'm going to get this one dealt with so that I can eat and drink and speak properly. And we'll go from there. Alright, so there's my layer of green, my foundation of green. And now I want to put on a blue shimmer. I think I'm going to take the shade Tide Pool from the Blue Moon palette. I'm going to start it with my finger because ColourPop shimmers generally apply nicely with the finger. So I've got Tide Pool, and I'm going to place this on the lid space, on like the center, working out towards these green mattes. I'm not going to try to go all the way into the inner corner with my finger because it does not offer the precision that I want, and I'll get it all over the bridge of my nose. And I'm putting it on the lid space. And then with that same shade on a flat C or shader brush, which I did spray, I'm going to use this to get the precision that I want up here at the top of the crease and lid. And I like to bring it a little bit higher than my crease so that when I'm looking straight ahead, you can see the color clearly. So as you can see, I'm leaving this inner area blank because I think I'll put a lighter shimmer there. I flipped the brush over. I'm going to grab the shade Lumi. Lumi is a very light blue iridescent. I might use this as a face highlighter today. So I've got Lumi on my brush, and I'm putting that at the inner corner here. I did not spray it. I want to see how it performs. I mean, I'm pretty familiar with ColourPop shadows. I know it'll give me a little bit more brightness if I spray it, so I think I will. With the brush that I used to lay down the mid-tone green, which shade was it? Nutty, I think. I'm gonna not take any additional product and just tap over where the shimmer here meets the matte. And then I'm gonna take the same brush, I'm gonna dip into the shade Clued In within Blue Moon. I'm dipping in very, very lightly, just a light tap of dark blue matte. I'm putting that right here, pretty much on top of the blue shimmer, and then blending it towards the green matte. It just helps transition everything a little bit more smoothly. All right, with a small pencil brush, I'm taking Moonlight. This is a lovely blue, kind of a baby blue matte, and I'm starting this in the inner corner and then dragging it down on the lower lash line. I'm gonna go about halfway, I think, with the blue, and then I think I'll dip back into the green and finish it out with green. So yeah, this is probably the first time in my life that I'm looking forward to visiting the dentist. I am very excited to go to the dentist, hopefully meet some nice people, and hopefully I found a good dentist. It was just based off of internet reviews and recommendations, but you always hope you find a good one. But I'm just looking forward to getting this tooth dealt with because it's kind of painful and officially a problem. And I want to get it taken care of before it becomes a much bigger infected, abscessed problem. I like that. Okay, I'm going to take that same small blending brush. I'm going to grab the shade Nutty and lay that on the rest of the lower lash line. This is a lovely warm green, and to combine it with that blue that I just laid down is such an interesting pairing. This shade reminds me of the shade Olive from Dirty Martini from Glamlight. They're not exactly the same, but Olive is I think it's called Olive. It's my favorite tone in the palette. And this Nutty shade might be my favorite in this palette, at least from the mattes. With a smudger brush in the shade Cone or Cup, I'm going back in here and just in the outer corner. Okay, so I kind of love that. Kind of loving it. I want to take the shade Dessert, that same small blending brush. Dessert is a very light shimmer within Pistachio palette. I'm going to spray it, and I want to use this as an inner corner highlight. Now the Blue Moon palette has a bright shimmer, but it's not super metallic. It's the one that I used right here. You can see it's not really pigmented. It's more of a little bit more of a topper shade. So this is the shade Dessert, and I'm going to place this right here just to brighten up this inner corner area a little bit. Yep, there we go. It's going to catch the light in a lovely way. I'm not really carrying it much past the inner corner. I'm not bringing it up onto the lid. I'm not bringing it down into the lower lash line because both of those areas are blue, and I don't want to cover the beautiful blue with this beautiful green. Everything's beautiful, but I don't want to cover the blue. I just want to keep that pop of light catching shimmer right there. So there you go. That's pretty much the eye look. I actually think it's really pretty. I'm so glad I paired these two palettes together. So I'm going to go off camera and finish everything up. I'll let you know at the end what waterline color I choose because I haven't decided yet, and then I'll show you how it all turns out. Okay guys, here is the finished look. I love it. I love it so much. I think it's beautiful. I think it looks like the feathers of a peacock. It's absolutely stunning. I did a small winged eyeliner, some mascara, and then on my face I did use that Lumi shade from the Blue Moon palette as a highlighter. I don't know if you can see that, maybe over here. I really like to use a light iridescent shadow from the palette if I'm able to as a highlighter because it just carries that color into the highlighter. The only official highlighters I have are the Frosé palette from BH Cosmetics, and these are all more pinky based. There are varieties, of course, you know, you'll peach, champagne, etc. But overall, they're all pink. So if I want something that's more unusual, like a blue or like a green, you know, in the Limelight palette from ColourPop, I use the really light green shade in there as a highlighter, and it's just fun to bring that color into the cheeks. So that's it, except on my lips I'm wearing the shade Smirk in ColourPop's lip oils. And again, that's everything. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I'm so excited that I paired these two palettes together. It was definitely my gut, and I finally went with my gut and was like, yes, absolutely paid off. I love it. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. PSA, take care of your teeth because you will regret it if you don't, or if you just genetically have bad teeth, see if you can get insurance that will help you get a dentist because it's not fun to have tooth problems. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see lots more colorful content, and until I see you again in my next video, I hope you have a lovely day. Bye!